So, Chapter 7, Lesson 2 is to write and solve addition equations. Okay? So, first thing here, it says Nico wants to buy a skateboard that costs $85. He has already saved $15. Fill in the box to complete each statement. Okay? So, first thing we want to do, and first we're going to solve this problem the way you guys would do it. Okay? What's the important information in here?
Cost 85.
The skateboard costs $85. Well, he already has $15. So, how do I figure out how much he has left to save? You're going to subtract, right? So you guys would do this. You guys could say 85 minus 15 is equal to $7, right? That's how you guys would solve it. We're not solving things like that anymore. We're writing the equations and then solving the equations. Now we're working algebraically. Is everybody clear? So here, the way we do this algebraically, just like in the last unit, we're going to define our variable. What is it that we don't know? How much he needs, right? So let's say x equals how much is needed. Okay? How much is needed. Now, when we look at the words, we know that if we add how much he already has plus how much he needs, that's going to be equal to $85, right? So, algebraically, we're going to write that equation. We're going to say how much he needs plus how much he already has saved plus the 15. That's going to be equal to $85. And that's how you write the algebraic equation. So there is our equation. The equation x plus 15 equals 85 can be used to find the amount of money Nico still needs to save to buy the skateboard. Question B says, Nico still needs to save how much to buy the skateboard? And we said it's 70 because we subtracted, right? Now, algebraically, okay, we subtracted 15 from 85, right? Here, we subtracted 85 minus 15. Okay? Now, when we show the work algebraically, if I subtract on one side, but not on the other side, my equation is unbalanced. Okay? So what do I have to do to get it back in balance? So if I subtract 15 on one side of the equation, then to keep my balance, like on the seesaw, I want to subtract the same amount on the other side. Is everybody clear with that? So now, 15 minus 15 is what? 0, right? So that says x plus 0, which is what? X plus 0 is x. And then 85 minus 15 is $70. So this is how you're going to show your work algebraically. So now we're going to solve an equation by subtracting, which is what I showed you on the warm-up. So make sure you write your heading. We are going to solve an equation by subtracting. Okay? Now, one way to solve an equation is by using inverse operations, which are operations that undo each other. Okay? So, or they're the opposite of each other. So the inverse or the opposite of subtraction is addition. And that's what we're doing today. We are solving addition problems by using subtraction. Okay? So here, for example 1, we want to solve 8 is equal to x plus 3. Okay, and then we're going to check our work. So method 1 is using a model. Okay, just using pictures. So here, we have 8 counters right here. Okay, we have 8 counters right there. We have 3 counters right here, and we have some counters in there, but we don't know how many is in there. But we know that this, the 8, and the I don't know plus the 3 are equal, because it says they're equal right there. Is everybody with me? So we want to figure out what is in the cup. Okay? So if I want to get the cup all by itself, I can take these counters away, and then it'll be by itself, right? So if I take the counters away, okay, there, I took the counters away. So mathematically, I can say that I subtracted 3. You with me? So if I subtract 3 on one side, I have to subtract 3 on the other side. Very good. So I took 3 away. So now it's still equal. We're left with how many? 5. So 5 counters equals whatever is in that cup. So how many counters are in the cup? 5. Is everybody clear with that? All right, very good. Method 2 is showing the algebraic work. Okay? So here we have 8 equals x plus 3. What did we do in the picture? We subtracted 3 because we wanted to get the x by itself. So here we subtract 3. Then you can see that cancels, x is by itself, and then we have 8 minus 3, which is 5. So let's do these guided problems together. We want to solve each equation, and then we want to check our solution, okay? So here we have c plus 2 is equal to 5, okay? Now, we want to get the c by itself, okay? We want the c by itself. So what do I need to get rid of to get the c by itself? The 2. Very good. So we are going to subtract 2 here and subtract 2 on the other side. And when I say the other side, I mean the other side of the equal sign. Okay? So the other side of the equal sign. Let me put a yellow line in here. Okay? So this is going to be the other side of the equal sign. Okay? So we subtracted 2 on the left-hand side, so that means we have to subtract 2 on the right-hand side. So now we can finish. Here, 2 minus 2, of course, is 0. So that's c plus 0, which gives me c. Then we have the equal sign. Well, c plus 0 is c, right? And then 5 minus 2 is 3. Is everybody clear with that? Now, how do I check this? Well, in order to check this, you're just going to take that 3 and put it back into your equation, okay? So here we have 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. So 3 plus 2 is 5, equals to 5. And if you get a true statement, then you are correct. All right, so here we have 6 is equal to x plus 5. So we want to get the x by itself, so what do I need to get rid of? I want the x by itself. So I want to get rid of the 5, right? How do I get rid of the 5? You're going to subtract. Very good. So we're going to subtract 5 here. And if I subtract 5 on one side, I have to subtract on the other to keep the balance, right? So here, those 5's cancel to 0. So x plus 0 is x. And then 6 minus 5 is 1. Is everybody clear? Yeah. And then when you check, all you have to do is put the 1 back in. So that's going to be 1 plus 5, which is equal to 6. And 6 equals 6. So you are correct. You got it? All right. How about letter C? Let me draw this line again. Here's the line. for the equal sign. I want the y by itself. We're going to subtract 3.5. Now let me tell you, remember last lesson I told you that the operation is also the sign of the number that follows. Remember I said that? So that plus belongs to the y, right? What sign is in front of this 3.5? Is it a positive or a negative? It's a positive, right? Because there's no sign there. So this is a positive 3.5. You with me? And that's why we are subtracting, because the opposite of positive is negative. So here, we're going to subtract 3.5 there, and we will subtract 3.5 there. So when we do that, so here, 12.375 minus 3.5 gives us 9.25. On this side, what happens to those 3.5s? They cancel to 0. So 0 plus y is y. So y is equal to 9.25, 9 and 25 hundredths. So, this is a subtraction property of equality. Make sure you write down your heading. This is the subtraction property of equality. And I want you to write down what the property says. It says that if you subtract the same number from each side of an equation, the two sides will remain equal, which is what we did in the last examples. We subtracted the same number from both sides, so the equation stayed equal. Okay? And you can see that with numbers. Here we have 5 equal signs. If we subtracted a 3 on both sides, we'd get 2 equals 2. Still, that's equal, right? Same thing with algebra. Same thing with algebra. Here, even though I don't know how many that x is, if I took 2 away on one side and 2 away on the other side, we would still have equality. Is everybody clear? So, example 2 says Ruben and Tariq have 245.5 downloaded minutes of music. If Ruben has 132 minutes, how many belong to Tariq? Write and solve an equation to find how many minutes belong to Tariq. Now, the key here, okay, in the direction, it says write and solve. Oops. It says write and solve an addition equation. So, the first thing you have to do is write the equation, and then you have to solve it. So, we're not going straight to solving. You must write the equation first. So, looking at the words, we know that Ruben and Tariq both have 245.5 downloaded minutes, right? So, if I add what Ruben has to what Tariq has, I'm going to get that 245.5. Is everybody with me on that? What is it that I don't know? We don't know how many belong to Tariq, right? So that, when we define our variable, that's our unknown, okay? So T is equal to the number of minutes Tariq has. Now, in the model form here, if I add what Ruben has, and Ruben had 132, right? If we add what Ruben had plus Tariq's amount, which we don't know, so we're going to use T, then that's going to be together equal to 245.5. Does everybody see the equation? 132 plus T is equal to 245.5. So now you can take that equation and you can solve it, right? So here, you're going to get the T by itself by subtracting Ruben's downloaded minutes, 132 on both sides, and we end up with T is equal to 113.5. So Tariq has 113.5 downloaded minutes. All right, so same example as example 2. It says, suppose Ruben has 147 minutes of the 245.5 that were downloaded. we want to write and solve an equation to find how many minutes belong to Tariq. So, once again, we are going to first define our variable, okay? Because we already know that if I add Ruben plus Tariq, we're going to get the total amount, right?
Yeah.
So, the unknown, defining our variable, T is equal to Tariq's minutes. Okay? T is equal to Tariq's minutes. We also know that if we add Ruben's minutes plus Tariq's minutes, we're going to get 245.5, right?
So we did this.
So, we have Ruben plus Tariq, and that's going to be equal to 245.5. So now we can substitute in what we know. We know Ruben has 147.5 minutes. Tariq is our unknown, so that's the T, and that equals 245.5. So now, to get the T by itself, what are we going to do?
Subtract.
We're going to subtract, very good, 147.5 on both sides of the equal sign. Minus 147.5. Draw your line, and now you can subtract. So here, 147.5 minus 147.5, of course that cancels out to 0. So that's at 0 plus T, which is T. And now you just subtract on the other side. Okay, so 5 minus 5 is 0. And on this one we have to borrow, right? So let's borrow from the 4, so that becomes 3. So 15 minus 7 is 8. And now we have to borrow again over here from the 2. So 13 minus 4 is 9. And then 1 minus 1 is 0. So Tariq has 98.0 minutes. Example 3 says a male gorilla weighs 379 pounds on average. This is 181 pounds more than the weight of the average female gorilla. Write and solve an equation to find the weight of the average female gorilla. Alright, so the important information we know is that the male gorilla weighs 379 pounds. That is what? That is 181 pounds more than the weight of the female gorilla. So we see how I'm putting this in words?
Yeah.
Okay? So how do I write this is 181 pounds more than the female? What do we not know? How much pounds the female, right? So we're going to go ahead and let W represent the weight of the female gorilla. Okay, so that's W. So here, how do I write 181 pounds more than the female? It is addition. Very good. So here we have 181 plus the weight of the female equals 379. Is everybody clear? So here's our equation. 181 plus W is equal to 379. And there, to get the W by itself, we will subtract 181 on both sides of the equal sign. Okay? And we end up with W is equal to 198. So the female gorilla weighs 198 pounds.